Sounds good.
So this is the Islamic Dilemma. So let me just give a brief opening about what the Islamic Dilemma is. Now,
Christian dilemma.
Yeah, both.
yeah.
Both, yeah.
So if the Torah and the Gospel are true, then the Quran must be false because the Torah and the Gospel both deny the Quran. And if the Torah and the Gospel are false, then the Quran is still false because the Quran is confirming false scriptures. I want to give you a quick example of how the Torah and the Gospel deny the Quran. In the Torah, it teaches that all nations of the earth will be blessed through the seed of Isaac, right? That salvation will come through the seed of Isaac. That promise is fulfilled through Jesus Christ, through whom all nations are saved, through his death, burial, and resurrection for the forgiveness of sins, right? Muhammad is not from the seed of Isaac. Some say that he's from the seed of Ishmael. Therefore, salvation cannot come from him, through him or through his message. That's how the Torah and the Gospel, just one example of how the Torah and the Gospel deny the Quran. Now, there are many instances where it talks about the Torah and the Gospel, where the Quran is confirming the Torah and the Gospel. Let me show you. So, give me a second. So in Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 89 it says, although they used to pray for victory by means of the Prophet over the polytheists, when there came to them a book from Allah which they recognized, confirming the scripture that they had in their hands, they rejected it. So may Allah's condemnation be upon the disbelievers. And in 291 it says, when it is said to them, believe in what Allah has revealed, they reply, we only believe in what was sent down to us, and they deny what came afterwards, though it is the truth confirming their own scriptures. Asking them, O Prophet, why then did you kill Allah's prophets before if you are truly believers? And also in Surah 5 verse 43, but why do they come to you for judgment when they already have the Torah containing Allah's judgment? Then they turn away after all. They are not true believers. And in 5:47, so let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed in it. And those who do not judge by what Allah has revealed are truly the rebellious. Now, how much time do I have left?
30 seconds.
30 seconds left. Now, if I had more time, I would give more examples of how the Quran is confirming the previous scriptures, right? But essentially what you have here is multiple examples of how the Quran is confirming the previous scriptures. Now, what I want from this gentleman is a clear verse in the Quran that teaches that the previous scriptures, the Torah and the Injil namely, are corrupted.
All right. I need everyone to pay attention because what I'm going to demonstrate is, what's your name?
Timothy.
Timothy doesn't know basic epistemology and doesn't know how to derive basic theology from when it comes to text. He claimed that the Quran confirms the Bible, and if the Quran confirms the Bible, it means that it's faulty because the Bible contradicts the Quran. Well, there's going to be a hidden premise in this argument. The hidden premise is that the author of the Quran must confirm everything in the biblical narrative. Now, the reason why it can't be an absolute confirmation is because epistemologically speaking, we can conclude what the author intends when he's doing these, saying these verses. Epistemology is how we know things. Okay. It's how we get to know things. And for me, it's okay, I will teach you today, but that's okay. Now, you said that Christ fulfills these prophecies and these supposed messianic prophecies. That's not even true. I'm going to show that. I'm going to expose how your Messiah is a false Messiah according to Zechariah 13:7 and according to Ezekiel 44 verse number 9. But that's besides the point. Our response to the Islamic dilemma is very simple, and he's not going to be able to answer it. I promise you. And I need everyone to pay attention to this. The answer is going to be that the author seems to be aware of the biblical narratives and the biblical content, and although while being aware of the biblical narratives and the biblical contents, he has no issue in consciously editing that material. If the author of the Quran has no issue in consciously editing material, it means he doesn't believe it to be absolutely true, therefore entailing that the confirmation cannot be absolute. It's a very clear syllogism. If you want me to put it formally, I'll put it formally for you. But the simple question, and I need everyone to pay attention, watch how he's not going to answer this. The question is, if the author is conscious of biblical material and he changes that material, it means he doesn't believe it's entirely true. It's either yes, he doesn't believe it's entirely true, or no, and then you're gonna fall into a fallacy. And I'm gonna point it out if you do.
Okay.
Okay? So now, this is the question, everyone. Pay attention. If the author knows the contents of the Quran, of the Bible, and while knowing the content, edits it, it means he doesn't believe it's absolutely true. Answer the question, and let's move on.
Okay. Did you notice that he actually didn't answer my question? I said in my opening, show me a clear verse in the Quran that teaches. No, we can just do it. You just flow. Yeah. I said, show me a clear verse in the Quran that teaches that the previous scriptures, namely the Torah and the Injil or the Gospel, are corrupted. That's all I asked. He hasn't answered that question.
Epistemology, I mentioned.
So can I clarify then, just to make sure? Are you saying to me that there isn't a clear verse for everyone to hear? Are you saying that there isn't a clear verse in the Quran hold on a second. Are you saying in front of everybody here that there isn't a clear verse in the Quran that teaches that the Torah and the Gospel are corrupted?
Hold on. So let me point out your double standard. Is there a clear verse in the Bible that says that Christ has a dual nature? And says that Christ, there's three hypostases and one essence and one usia? No, because through epistemology, you derive this information by reconciling the text and knowing the intention of the author. Basic epistemology 101. The same way that you mention terms and you mention beliefs that although are not explicit in the Bible, I can do the same thing. Because if I'm justified in believing that the author of the Quran knows the Bible, and while knowing the Bible, he edits it, it means he doesn't believe it's absolutely true. Now, I answered your question.
Can I respond to that?
No.
Can I respond to that?
You have to answer my question.
It's within it, though.
No.
It's within it. It's within it. Okay.
Again, he hasn't answered the question, guys. If the author knows the contents of the Bible, and while knowing the contents of the Bible changes material, it means he doesn't believe it's absolutely true. Agree or disagree?
Let me respond. Let me respond, and I'll get to that. I'll get to that. It's fine. That's not a problem.
Yeah, he's gonna get to that.
That's not a problem, right? So it sounds like to me then you're admitting. I remember when I was talking to you the other day or the other week, I mentioned this. You're not going to find a clear verse in the Quran that teaches that the previous scriptures are corrupted. I've given him an opportunity to show me a verse. He hasn't done it. Now, all my life as a Christian, I've been told by Muslims, oh yeah, the Quran says that the previous scriptures are corrupted. Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 79. It's not bringing it up. Surah Al-Ma'idah chapter 5 verse 13 and 14. It's not bringing it up. Right? Surah Al-Ma'idah chapter 5 verse 48. He's not bringing it up. Because all of these verses have been debunked. All of these verses have been debunked. Now he's going down this conscious editing kind of route to try to teach that the... So ask me the question again specifically.
Ask me the question again, bro. It's that time.
Ask me again specifically.
Aye, for the fourth time.
Yeah.
The question that he's not going to be able to answer.
Ask it again.
Let me finish. I'm going to answer the question. If the author is aware of biblical contents, or at least aware of major themes, and while knowing this content, edits material in the Bible, it means he doesn't believe that the entire Bible is true. Right?
Not necessarily, and let me explain why. Not necessarily, and let me explain why. There's a lot in your question, right? First, you assume that there is one author of the Quran. I'm assuming that you're saying that that's Allah.
I can go on naturally.
Right? By the way, be careful where you put it, because sometimes I get brushing sounds. Yeah. You need to explain to me who the author of the Quran is, right? Because from my perspective, there are many authors of the Quran. Which Quran are we talking about? Which Qira'at? Right? This is a loaded question. Right? No, hold on a second. Let me respond. This is a loaded question. The author of the Quran. Am I meant to assume that's Allah?
No, we're talking about...
Now let me go on. Now, if somebody consciously changes something, then why can't you come to the understanding, which is perfectly reasonable to me, that someone or a group of people could lie to do that? For example, right? I could believe in something, but not want you to believe in it, so I lie to you about that thing, right? Why can't you factor in deception as into this equation? Why do you have this view that the author of the Quran, who is the author of the Quran, by the way?
Yeah.
Who is the author of the Quran?
If you're going to ask me that question, is going to be Allah. However,
Okay.
I'm not finished speaking.
So okay,
I'm not finished
I was saying my point.
No,
I was saying my point. Let me say this bit.
Excuse me.
Let me say this bit.
I'm not finished
So
speaking.
let me
No,
say this
you're not
bit. Let me
gonna
say this
show, man.
bit.
Excuse me.
So
You're not gonna
Allah
show,
is
man.
consciously editing
Hello.
his previous revelation.
I'm not finished
So
speaking.
Allah, according to him, no, I just wanted a yes or no. Wait.
I am not done speaking.
Allah is consciously
I am so
editing
sorry that the beginning
his
of your
previous
sentence up to the middle of
revelation.
mine.
Can you understand that? Yeah, according to you.
No, I'm not done speaking. Are you gonna
No,
have
but
a
it was
dialogue?
just.
Excuse me.
I'm just
Are
clarifying.
you gonna have a dialogue, or we're gonna speak
Right, go
with
ahead.
each
Go
other?
ahead.
Okay, good. If I say to you that I make a distinction between naturalistic analysis and analysis from my epistemology, the answer is going to differ. Meaning, from a naturalistic perspective, from a historian perspective, of course they're not going to grant that Allah is the author. The point being is that even from historical perspective, we can come to the conclusion that the author of the Quran is one. Now that could be Muhammad, it could be someone else. The point being is that whoever that author is, and I know you're struggling, it's okay.
I'm not struggling at all.
Excuse me, I'm not done speaking. Hello.
He keeps saying these things.
Hey, brother, are
I'm
you
not
good?
struggling at all.
I'm not done speaking.
This is not a problem at
I'm not
all.
done speaking. Now you appeal to deception. Let me finish. He appealed to deception and he said, hey, the author, although he knows it's true, is appealing to the mass to deceive them. So now, are you telling me that the author wants the audience to believe that not all the scriptures true? Is that what you're telling me?
I'll tell you what I'm telling you.
Answer, yes
Let
or
me
no?
let me tell you
Yes
what
or no?
let me tell you what I'm telling
You
you.
never answer the question.
Can I give my own answer? Can I give my own
Because if he
answer?
appeals to deception,
Can I
he
give
still has to concede that the author wants the believer to not believe in the entire Torah and the Bible. And the
your
Bible.
entire
That's the
argument?
point.
Your entire argument is based on assumptions.
Answer the question. Please.
Hold
Don't waste my
on, no,
time.
I'm answering. I'm
Please don't
answering.
waste my
But let me answer how I want to answer. Right? You're afraid that I'm going to say something that
Fallacy
challenges your
terrible. He's
position.
born to fallacies.
Let me just speak freely. Right? I don't want this to break down again. Right?
But please don't
Your argument is entirely based on assumptions. First, you're assuming that Allah is the author. I disagree.
I'm not.
Hold on.
I'm literally not. I
Is
granted
Allah?
you-
You said
I granted you historical means.
You said Allah is the author of the Quran.
Oh my God! I granted naturalistic means.
Is Allah the author of the Quran? Yes or no?
From a historical perspective.
From your perspective,
Hey, brother,
I'm talking to you.
this is a naturalistic
I'm
discussion.
talking
Are you
to
good?
you. I'm talking to you.
Okay, good. I got you.
I'm talking to
I
you.
got you. I'm gonna answer.
Yes.
Even if you're talking to me, that doesn't mean I can't grant another position. Are you good? I can still grant another
this is
position.
ridiculous.
Although I'm tied.
This is why I walked
to a
away the
dogmatic
first
belief.
time, because it's a joke.
Okay, good.
This is absolutely
Okay.
a joke.
Answer the deception point
You're
that
not,
you made.
I've brought up in my opening.
Don't run
I
away.
brought up Quranic verses.
Answer the deception point that you made.
I showed evidence. He's showing no evidence.
Sounds good.
Your entire argument is based on an assumption.
Sounds good.
Right? I'm saying.
You know you're stuck, by the way.
No, I'm not
Alright,
stuck.
finish.
Right? By
I'll
the
let
way,
you finish.
I've always made this claim. Anyone who knows me, I've said it in previous debates, that the Quran is a deceptive book. Right? Whether
It's irrelevant. That's literally where into this
to you, because you're looking for one outcome.
Yeah, and
right?
I'm gonna
You're
make you
looking,
concede.
and
I'm gonna make you
you're,
concede.
you're looking
Come
for
on.
you're looking for one outcome. I've said from the beginning, right? The Quran is a deceptive book, right? There are multiple places where the Quran is saying to believe in the previous books. In Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 4. In Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 285. And my favorite one in Surah An-Nisa chapter 4 verse 136, if I'm not mistaken. It says to believe in the previous books. Now he's saying that, bro, you're my ear. He's saying, right? He's saying that the author of the Quran is consciously editing the material in the previous scriptures, because he's saying that the material in the previous scriptures is not true, whilst at the same time saying to believe in those books that are not within the Quran. How does that even make sense?
Thank you.
So on one hand,
Hey, finish.
so on one hand, the Quran is teaching, according to him, right? The Quran is teaching, believe in the books that came before, which are not contained within the Quran. And then he's saying that the Quran is also consciously editing
Please.
from those books. How does that even make sense?
Thank you. Now, I'm not even gonna waste my time, because you stumped yourself, because you wanted to employ the point of deception. Oh, the author is just deceiving the believers. Now, I'm gonna ask you this one question, and I know you're not gonna answer it, because you said you were gonna answer at the beginning and you didn't answer it.
You haven't
If the
answered my
author-
question,
Let
by
me
the
finish. You don't answer the question at the end. You fumbled. Too bad. Now pay attention. If the author of the Quran wants the people to believe that he's consciously edited material, it means he wants the people to not believe in the entire Bible, right? Yes or no?
He's deceiving people.
So he doesn't want them to believe in entire Bible,
Let
right?
me tell you. Let me tell
yes
you.
or no?
Let me tell you. Assuming,
yes or no?
Assuming
Yeah.
that there is one author of the
Yeah.
Quran. This
Then-
is your assumption.
then yes, right?
It's an. Why do you?
No, say yes.
He wants me to say
or no.
yes.
It's
Say
a
yes.
bit that
Wait, like, guys, are you listening? Are you listening? How many times is he saying, say yes? Say yes.
say it.
Say yes. He's looking for a TikTok moment,
Yeah, I
right?
am.
How many times is he
Say
saying?
it.
Wait, hold me. Hold on. This is interesting. This is interesting, right? I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you.
Answer the
Is it Amir? Yeah.
Yes, answer the question.
I'll be honest. You make a good salesman, right?
Okay, answer
Honestly,
the
you make a
question.
good salesman. Do you know why? Do you know why?
Answer the
Every
question.
time he asks the
Yo,
question, he goes, say yes.
the author's
Say yes.
deceiving- no.
Say yes.
If the
Say
author-
yes. He wants me to say
It's the
yes.
truth dichotomy. If the author is deceiving the people according to you, it means he doesn't want them to believe in entire Bible, right?
Right?
Yes or no?
This is what I'm saying.
No, answer
Let me
yes or
tell
no.
you what I'm saying.
No, no.
Let me say. Let me tell you what I'm saying.
Last chance I'm gonna give you.
You're not
Answer
giving
the
me any
question.
chances. Let me tell you what I'm saying.
I'm gonna make it.
Let me.
Guys, this is a question. If the author of the Quran is supposedly deceiving the Muslims, and he wants them to not believe in entire Bible, and he's consciously editing material according to your hypothesis, he doesn't want the Muslims to believe in the entire Bible, right?
This is what I'm saying.
Yes or no?
Let me explain.
Address what he's saying, though.
Let me say what I'm saying.
You just want to say.
Let me explain.
Bro, he landed like 5 times. He's not answering nothing.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm
This is
gonna
what I
give
mean.
you
You're trying to put me in a
One more
box.
chance, everyone. One more chance. Go ahead.
What do you mean one more chance, everyone?
One more chance. Go ahead.
Let me explain. Right? Now, like I said to you before, you're assuming that there is one author of the Quran. This is
Finish. I'm not talking to you.
he's assuming that there's one author of the Quran, right? And that this author is Allah. And that, bro, we need to stop. We need to speak in
Finish up, bro. Finish up, please.
No, we need
You're
to-
wasting everyone's time. Finish
we
up.
need to speak like based on what you actually believe. You're creating this kind of false dichotomy then. Like what is it? Like what is it that you're actually like who like if you're saying to me, you're saying to me, right?
got you. Watch this.
You're saying to me that the Allah is the author of the Quran.
Oh my God.
So you're bro, you keep saying this.
Do you know what granting
You're-
naturalistic means? No,
but
stop,
I'm
stop,
talking to you.
everyone,
Wait,
stop.
hold on a second.
Do you know
I'm
what
talking to you.
brother, brother.
I'm talking to you as a Muslim.
Thank you. Do you know
Right?
what
Are you a
granted-
Muslim?
Oh my God.
Are you a Muslim?
Of course I'm Muslim.
Right. So
But-
let me talk to you as a Muslim and based on what you believe.
Sounds good. Finish up, land, so I can answer the question.
Yeah. So if you're a Muslim, you
Brother,
believe.
finish up. Finish up. Don't
Look,
speak
man.
to me. Finish up.
What do you mean don't speak
Okay,
to you?
finish up, please. Go ahead.
This is gonna break down again.
Go ahead.
Honestly, this is gonna break down again. You believe as a Muslim that Allah is the author of the Quran. So your entire point, right, is based on this. I'm saying first and foremost that I do not believe that Allah is the author of the Quran. Right? That's number one. I think there were many hands involved in putting the Quran together. Even when we look at the compilation of the Quran, according to Sahih al-Bukhari 4986, says that Zayd bin Thabit searched for fragmentary scripts of the Quran on parchment, thin white stones, scapula.
Don't throw out homonyms.
I'm making my
But
point.
I'm gonna have to refute
Scapula from the chest of men. Who were all these men that Zayd got the Quran from? They were all contributors to the book, right? We don't know who they are. We don't know who these people are, where they come from, what's their first name, what's their last name. We don't know this. So he's saying to me that the author, the singular author, by the way, which I completely disagree with, is consciously editing because in doing so he's saying that the previous scriptures are corrupted. I would say that we can't even say what the mind is of these people. I would say from a personal perspective that the Quran is a deceptive book. It's a book that is designed to deceive people away from the Torah and away from the Injil that it claims to be confirming. Now, I've shown you various texts in the Quran. This guy hasn't shown me anything. Not one verse in the Quran.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to respond and watch. At the end, I'm going to ask him the same question and watch how I'm going to answer it. First of all, let me respond to the point about multiple authors. Right? He says there's multiple authors of the Quran. Sounds good. According to the most rigorous research done by non-Muslims, they conclude that the Quran has one author. Let me read to you. The chronology of the Quran, a stylometric research program by Benham Sajji. What does he say in his abstract? He says, this essay demonstrates the stylistic unity of many large passages. It also shows that the Quran has one author. This is the most recent research that's done on the Quran. Now, forget
Islamic
that.
sources.
Put aside now. Watch this, guys.
I'm gonna say it with bias.
Watch this. Watch this.
To give you Islamic
Watch this. Granted, there's multiple authors of the Quran. Pay attention. Granted, there's multiple authors of the Quran.
Okay.
If they want to deceive the Muslims, the authors, want the Muslims to believe that not the entire Bible is true, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
So what are they deceiving them on?
Let me say this.
So what's the deception?
Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
What's the deception?
Let me answer you.
Go ahead.
Right? Your point is about what the author believes. Yes or no?
No. What does he want to convey?
Your point is about your
What are they
point.
deceiving them into?
Amir.
Answer the question.
Amir. Your point is about what the author.
That's terrible.
Hold on, Amir.
What is he deceiving?
Amir.
No. You have to be. You have to engage
I'm
now.
answering.
You have to
I'm
engage.
answering.
What is he deceiving them into?
I'm answering.
No, you're not.
Your point
You're not.
is about. Your point is about what the author believes.
Right.
That's the first thing that you said. Right? Sounds good,
when
right?
you said deceive,
your
what is he
point.
deceiving them into?
Your point is about what the author believes. That's what you said in the beginning. What does the author believe?
Thank you.
Right?
Thank
That's what you said. Now I can say that the author's intentions are to deceive people
Into what? Into what?
into not following the Torah and
Thank
the Injil.
you.
That's not a concession.
Thank you.
That's not a concession.
So he doesn't want the
That's not
Muslims
a
to believe
concession.
in the Bible.
Through deception.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. Now what he was saying is this. What he was saying is this. I don't know why he's laughing. I don't know why he's laughing. Let me explain something. Let me explain. I'm not shaking your hand
You're
on
not gonna
that.
shake my hand?
Oh, not on that, because there's
It's
more to
GGs.
say.
It's game
It's
over.
not GGs.
game over.
It's not GGs. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's not GGs. Let me tell you why it's not GGs. Bro, let me explain. You gotta let me at least respond. Let me explain. Your whole argument, right, from the get-go. Let me explain, man. Your whole argument from the get-go. How are you, my friend? You all right, yeah? Good to see you. Your whole argument from the get-go was the belief of the author. That's what your argument was, right? And I'm saying that the author or the authors, right, of the Quran could easily argue that they intended to deceive the people who are reading their material, right? That's what I'm saying. Now, it doesn't mean that because the person is deceiving, he's not aware or doesn't believe that the previous scriptures are true. That's an assumption that he's making. That his whole argument is based on an assumption. Everything that I've said is based on Quranic verses. I could also go to the hadith if we had the time. I never got baked. Bro, this guy is some joker.
Oh, you want Orlando?
Jude, I'm in a debate, bro. Can you allow me to finish?
Let's move to the next debate.
I'm waiting.
Let me finish off. Let me finish
I'm
off.
good in yourself? Yeah. Stay here.
Even going.
How are you? Good to see you. Yeah?
That's it.
Let me. I know. I'm saying one thing. So there was at no point, just to make this very clear, there was no point. You are a nuisance, man. Honestly, you are honestly. No, seriously, you are a nuisance, man, and you're a rude person.
Brother, just stand it, please.
Bro, let me say what I'm saying.
It's done.
No, it's not done. Your whole argument was based on what the author believed. Yeah. Anyway, what's my point? I had said to him in the beginning, show me a clear verse in the Quran that teaches that the previous scriptures were corrupted. He didn't answer my question. He didn't show me a clear verse, and he didn't establish his point.
Alright, done.
All right,
Christian Dilemma?
let's go for it. Yeah.
Alright, boom. Okay. Now we're going to move to the second section of the debate. I'm going to be challenging the opponents on the coherence and the standing of his doctrine, meaning him being a Christian. Alright, so we're going to be an internal critique, as I'm promising. Now, the argument is going to focus on Deuteronomy chapter 13.
Dude, I need to listen, yeah?
Where the author of Deuteronomy posits a way to know false prophets from true prophets. He specifically mentions, and this is God speaking, that if a prophet comes and teaches gods that you do not know, then that prophet is a false prophet. That's what he says, right? So according to that criteria, if Christ was preaching to the Jews a God that they didn't know, it means that Christ, according to his own standard, is a false prophet. Now, my fellow friend here believes that Christ was going around preaching a Trinity. He was going around preaching a triune being, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Okay? Now, is that what the Jews historically believed? Now, there's only a few ways to get around it. You can either appeal to the text of the Old Testament to show what the Jews believed, but that's not going to help them. Because the very thing in question is what the Jews believed while reading the Torah. So if we can't demonstrate a single Jewish group before Christ who did believe in a triune or a multi-personal being, it means that according to his own standard, Christ is preaching a false God. Not only that, I can even posit the opposite, that the Old Testament teaches a unipersonal being. Because according to Nehemiah 9:6, Nehemiah is addressing God and he says, "You alone are Yahweh." So he uses personal pronouns, personal single pronouns, to refer to a person, and he said that a person is alone Yahweh, and that person is actually identified as the Father by Paul in Romans chapter 3, verse number 7 to 24. So now, this is a simple argument.
Yeah.
If Christ teaches a God that the Jews didn't know, Christ is a false prophet. It is the case that Christ taught a God that the Jews didn't know, therefore Christ is a false prophet. Please.
Say that again slowly, I want to make sure.
Yeah. If Christ taught a God that the Jews didn't know, it means that Christ is a false prophet according to the standard in Deuteronomy 13. It is the case that the Jews didn't know the God that Christ taught because they didn't believe in a triune being. Therefore, Christ is a false prophet according to Deuteronomy 13.
Okay. But this is the first time I'm hearing this
I know.
Christian dilemma.
Yeah.
So if I'm slow to respond, you have to respect that.
Okay,
right?
but
I'm trying to.
So should we do it time then?
No, it's fine. We can just do back and forth. It's
Okay,
fine.
but you take very long with the response. I don't want it to ways away from what I want it to be.
Yeah, but it needs to be. My responses need to be accurate.
Just keep it. Don't,
All right.
don't make it
so,
long-winded.
so let me see if I've understood correctly. You're saying that Christ is teaching. What's the dilemma? Either Christ is not God.
No.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 13 states.
Yeah.
That if a prophet teaches a God that the Jews don't know, it means he's a false prophet. That's the criteria.
Okay.
Christ taught a God that the Jews didn't know because the
Okay.
Jews didn't believe in a triune being.
Okay.
Unless he can demonstrate otherwise.
Okay.
Therefore, Christ is a false prophet because he taught a God that the Jews didn't know.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, I would argue that Christ. Well, I would argue even from the Old Testament, right? If we look at Genesis chapter 18 and Genesis chapter 19 in particular. In Genesis chapter 19 in verse 24, it says the following. It says, "Then the Lord rained down sulfur and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens." In other words, Yahweh rained down sulfur and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Yahweh out of the heavens. So there is a Yahweh on earth and there is a Yahweh in the heavens.
Okay.
Right? This is in the Torah. This is in Genesis chapter 19.
Sounds good.
Now, where this comes from is actually in Genesis chapter 18, where it says that 3 men appeared to Abraham, one of them actually being Yahweh and 2 of them being angels.
Okay.
When they stay with Abraham for a little while, then the 2 men depart and go to Sodom, which is mentioned in the beginning of chapter 19 actually, where it says the 2 angels came. And the 3rd man remains with Abraham, communicating with him. And then later, that 3rd man, who's Yahweh, is found in Genesis 19:24 to go down to Sodom and Gomorrah and then to rain down fire and brimstone upon them. So we have evidence there, and Jewish people, Messianic Jews, believe that's God in the flesh. They don't dispute that. They don't have that.
Sounds good. I
Do
got
you understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
Okay.
Now, guys, the response that he gave is that he appealed to the very text in question. The text in question is whether or not the Old Testament teaches a tri-personal being. Now, what he doesn't understand is that I'm making a good argument from silence. A good argument from silence. That if it was the case that Genesis 18 and Genesis 17 were teaching a tri-personal being, we would expect Jews prior to Christ to affirm that belief. Since Jews prior to Christ don't affirm that belief, I can make a good argument from silence that that's not the correct interpretation of the text. And also, let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
That actually, and even on top of that, you go into Genesis 17 and 18 doesn't answer the objection, because the objection and the criteria given in Deuteronomy 13 is what the Jews know, not what the text says. So you have to show me that the Jews knew and worshipped a triune being, not that your interpretation of Genesis 17 entails a multi-personal being. Okay. So now, the question is very clear. I'm going to make it very clear. I'm not done. I'm not done.
You said quite a lot.
I'm going to ask the questions that way you're held into it. Right? The question is there any Jews prior to Christ that did believe in a multi-personal being outside from the text itself in question. Can you answer that, please?
Absolutely yes.
Give me the
Let me.
reference.
I just gave you one reference, Genesis chapter
That's the
19.
very thing in question.
Hold on.
That's the very thing in question.
That's what I brought up.
Okay, who
one
read
second,
it and-
one second,
and
one second,
believed
one
in a
second,
multi-person
one second. Let me speak now, right? Bro, you have to let me speak.
No, you're not answering the question.
Hear
I'm
me,
not asking
hear me,
if the
hear me,
Old Testament
hear me.
teaches it. I'm asking who read the Old Testament.
Wait,
and from
what
it
did you
derived
just?
it.
What did you just say?
I'm not asking if the Old Testament taught it.
So you accepted the Old Testament taught it?
Brother, wait. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I'm
then?
saying who read the Old Testament from the Jews before Christ and came to the conclusion that you came to.
Okay, so that sounds like you accept that conclusion.
No, I don't have to accept or deny. I'm asking for evidence.
Let me give you
Do you have a
evidence.
group of Jews or
Let
not?
me give you evidence,
Of Jews.
bro. Let
Jews?
me. Can I explain?
You're strawmanning the question. I'm not asking if the text says it. I'm asking who read
Okay,
the text
what
and came
makes
to the
you?
conclusion.
Okay, so how do you know the Jews in the time of Christ didn't have this understanding?
Not before the time of Christ.
Or at this time of Christ, or even before? How
Yeah.
do you know?
There's no evidence for it.
So what's your evidence that there's no evidence for it?
Oh my God.
Oh my God! Tell me.
my
So
God.
go on.
This guy
Where's your
just said,
evidence?
wait.
Where's your evidence?
This guy just said, what's your evidence that there is no evidence? Brother, the
You're
whole
making a point. You're making a point.
The whole point is that absence of evidence entails that the Jews didn't believe it. We don't have any evidence. Do you have any evidence that the Jews
I'm
believe
going
this?
through the scriptures.
Oh my, the scriptures. Oh my God.
So I can't use the scriptures.
the script-
Have you
Brother,
noticed? Have you
hello.
noticed the theme in his argumentation? Have you
The
noticed the
script-
theme in his argumentation?
scripture is not the
When
thing
it comes
in
to the
question.
Quran, I can't use the scriptures.
Hello?
When it comes to the Bible, I
Hello?
can't use the scriptures.
My
I'm
argument-
literally
oh my God.
using the scriptures.
My argument
Wait,
doesn't
hold on a
rely-
second. Hold on a second.
Oh,
I listen to
you're
you.
terrible. You're terrible.
I'm using the scriptures to show why Jews at the time would have believed in God in being multiple persons. I'm showing you that. Genesis 19:24 is one of my evidences.
Okay, I
right?
just-
No,
okay,
hold on a
finish
second.
I'm asking this question.
Genesis 19:24 is one of my evidences. You can't dismiss that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Right, so-
I have one question. I'm done. Okay, one question. Is there a single Jew who read that passage in Genesis before Christ and came to the conclusion of a triune being? Yes or no?
I would argue yes.
Give me a one.
How can I tell you their names?
So there, you don't have any.
How can I tell you
So
their names
okay,
though?
okay,
How
okay.
can I tell you their names?
Name me a
I would
group.
say as a
Name me a
nation
group.
of
Who?
Jews, I would say this.
Who?
I would say this. The entire nation of the Jews. I'm showing you for their text.
Prove it.
I'm showing you
The
for their
text is the
text.
thing in question. Are
Yes.
you good?
I am good.
Okay.
Yes, I'm showing
the
you.
thing in question, the premise in question,
Yeah.
is whether or not the text teaches that. Now, I said
Okay.
I'm making a good argument from silence.
Yeah, so
let me
I'm giving-
finish.
oh, man.
Would you agree that if the text clearly teaches it, we would expect Jews to hold that doctrine and reflect that doctrine outside the text? Yes or no?
Let me tell you this.
Answer yes or no.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, right? You gotta let me answer the way I want
Answer
to.
the questions.
Everything is a yes or no with you.
It is,
Let me
because
let me
it's a
let me
two-dichotomy.
let me answer my way.
Is me saying this or no
Let me
bad?
let me answer my way.
No,
Every question is
no,
a
no,
yes
no,
or no.
you have to answer yes or
let
no.
me let me answer my way.
You have to answer yes or
You're
no.
not my boss.
You have to.
This
It's
is
a
not your
debate.
TikTok channel.
No, it's a debate.
I can
I have
answer
to
the way I
hold
want
you down
to.
to
Yeah,
the
I'm
question.
answering. I'm answering.
It's a yes or
I'm
no.
answering it. I'm answering.
So if you answer
I'm
anything other than yes or
answering.
no,
I'm
then you're not
answering. I'm answering.
You're struggling.
I'm not struggling.
You are struggling.
I'm not struggling.
Go ahead.
You're not allowing me to speak freely, right?
It's a chill-out
Essentially, what you're asking for is evidence. Essentially, what you're asking for is evidence of what the Jews believed.
Yes.
Right, and I'm showing you.
That's
Look, I
The
want to
thing
just
in
be able to
question
flow.
is the text.
I just want to be able to flow, man. Come on, let me
You
talk.
being able to flow
Let me-
is
let me-
other words.
let me talk.
Saying you don't want to answer.
I'm actually getting.
I tried to propose 2 minutes, but you don't want.
Yeah, let me just say what I need to say.
Deal with it.
Let me just what I say what I need to say, right?
Go ahead.
I'm going. Thank you.
But you know he's not answering. So I have to hold him down.
That's, even he's telling you to let me speak, man.
Go ahead, finish.
Come on. You're talking about what the Jews believed. The best way to know what the Jews believed is to go to their texts, to go to their scriptures, to see what they actually believed. I'm doing that. I've gone to Genesis chapter 18, I touched upon it. I went to 19:24. It says Yahweh on earth called upon Yahweh in heaven. In some translation it says Hashem called upon Hashem, or Hashem rained down fire. It says, then the Lord rained down sulfur and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of heavens. So there's a Lord on earth and there's a Lord in the heavens. This is in the Torah. This is in the first book, right? We have other texts that we can talk about. Jude, brother, I'm having a debate. There's other texts as well that we have that I can show him. I don't think he's going to accept it though. There's a multiplicity of texts that will prove the Trinity in the Old Testament. He doesn't want to go there. All he wants to do is argue from silence.
We're going to declare him soon.
And that's it. Soon. He says he's going to declare me soon, so he obviously hasn't declared me yet. He's not confident. He's not confident. Hey, wait, if you fake it, so why did you say declare me soon then? So even he doesn't believe. He doesn't believe that he's declared it. He's admitted it himself.
You done? Okay, good.
I'm done.
Thank you so much. Now, guys, so he's saying that we can justify what the Jews believe from the text alone. Now, I'm gonna test the epistemology. I'm gonna press him on a question and watch how he answers. Let me finish. Hello. Let me finish. Now,
I'm letting you.
would you agree with me that if Christ was going around teaching a Trinity and teaching a tri-personal being, we would expect the earliest followers to reflect that belief? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Now, if the Old Testament was teaching a triune being, would you expect the earliest Jews to reflect that belief? Yes or no?
Yes.
Prove it.
Through the scripture.
No. Wait, the earliest followers, when it comes to the earliest followers, do you justify their belief in the Trinity? For example, the church fathers. When I want to know what the church, do I go to the Bible?
Okay, so now you're throwing in a
answer the
lot.
question.
Now you're throwing in a lot, though. You're throwing in a multitude of things. I'm sticking with the text.
Okay.
And you're stuck. That's why you're going church fathers.
When it comes to the church
you're
fathers,
stuck.
how do you know what
That's
they
why
believe?
you're going to the church
Answer the
fathers.
question. When it comes to the church fathers, how do you know what they believe?
I'm not talking about the church
do you go
fathers.
to the Bible?
I'm talking about the scriptures.
Oh my God.
I'm going back.
Brother,
No, don't say, oh my God.
Do you know what a good argument?
Don't say, oh my God.
Do you know what a good,
No. Now you're going to church fathers.
Do you know what a good
You've introduced
argument
church fathers. You've introduced church fathers because you can't prove your point in the Bible.
Oh,
That's why you've introduced church fathers.
Do you know what a good...
Stick to the Bible. Stick to the
My
Bible.
argument didn't involve the Bible.
It did.
It didn't.
It did. Talk about what the Jews believed.
Yeah.
Their book is the Bible.
The very thing in
Their
question
book is the
is-
Bible.
okay.
Their book is
outside the
Tanakh,
Bible. Watch this.
the Torah.
Outside the Bible, anyone who read the Bible, the
Bro,
Torah, and
we
came
have to know who we're talking about.
Answer the question.
No,
The Jews.
we have to know
The
who we're
Jews.
talking about. The Jews. Okay,
Let
the
me
Jews
finish.
who were given who had the Bible. Go ahead.
Outside the Bible, who read the text? Because the text is the very thing in question.
Yeah.
That's what we're examining. Who read that text and came to the conclusion of a triune being?
The Jews.
Prove it!
Okay, I'll show you.
He's gonna go to the text. If he goes to the text, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay, here's this. Check this out. In the Gospel of Mark.
Yeah.
I can't go to the text.
Hey, look, let's end on good
I
faith
can't,
because
I can't even go to my own scriptures to prove a point.
If you heard what he said,
it's a
I
good
heard
argument
what
from
he
silence.
said.
Please learn
I heard what he
epistemology.
said.
Please learn epistemology, bro.
Okay.
Oh my days.
All right.
Stay here.
Take care.
Then wrap up.
This is. No, I didn't. Shut your mouth. This is so cool. Yeah. Do you mind putting it? Do you mind? Yeah. Let me go here.
About to let him wrap up.
That was the weirdest. Talking about the second debate. That was the weirdest debate that I've ever had in my life. Like, he's trying to hold me into this sort of dilemma without allowing me to even go to the scriptures to prove what the Jews would have believed. How does that even make sense? I can't go to Genesis 19 verse 24. I can't use that. I can't go to Genesis 1. I can't go to the God appearing to Moses or to Jacob. I can't go to any of those things. I'm not allowed to. But these are things that are within the Jewish scriptures that would have affected how they believe in God, right? I can't use any of those things. I have to appeal to whatever he is saying and be limited to his evidence. That's ridiculous, guys.
Let's talk about the most important.
Now, going back to the first argument.
How many gods?
Bro, I can't believe this.
How many gods?
I can't believe this.
How many gods down on the cross?
Anyway,
How many gods bitten down on the cross?
I want to wrap up for the first one as well. When we look at the first debate that we had, yeah, he didn't answer my initial question. Where does it say in the Quran that the previous scriptures are corrupted? Right? He went on this whole assumption about the Quranic author and what the Quranic author believes. And this is just one argument based on assumptions. There's nothing that he said that could be substantiated by the Quran itself. Not one verse he could say and teach to teach that the previous scriptures were corrupted. Not one verse. And I want you guys to pay attention to that. Because for years people have been saying, oh, the Quran teaches that the Bible is corrupted. 279, they've been running to that. Now they're not saying that at all. They've completely changed their argument. You got people like John Fontaine saying, show me the Torah and the Injil that was with Muhammad in the time of when he was in Medina. They've completely abandoned using the Quran to teach that the previous scriptures are corrupted. So I want you guys to recognize that the Islamic Dilemma has been super effective this year. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you in the new year. Take care.